Way to ruin a perfect moment. So that's a perfect example of the A, B, A, C, the C section at the end. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your it's all new material, right? It wasn't part of the whole song before, and it lends itself to the close of the song, usually repeating the title. But Irving Berlin flipped it, even just a little more craft to it, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm gonna cry. Oh, whew. That's just so good. So did you see where that went to the B section? B section? I'm dreaming of a bright Christmas. And children, there's B to see sleigh bells in the snow. So here's back to the A. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with a free Christmas card. Right. See? May your days be merry and bright. And it's so good. It's so good. So I encourage you to experiment with these song forms, because I mean, it'll make you a better writer. And just say, okay, I'm gonna try write a AAA form song. I'm gonna do this. How many? Okay, how long you guys have been? How long you been writing songs?
Since I was maybe 17 or 8.
Okay, about 10 years.
About 10 years.
Awesome.
Not long enough. No, probably since I was maybe 14.
Okay, so out of all the songs that you've written, how many do you think are like a AAA form?
Probably the first one I wrote, maybe.
So I like to look at my songs and go, okay, let's just. I have a song called "There's a Sound," and it's a AAA form, but it has the refrain on it. And I didn't, to tell you the truth, I didn't know I was writing in that style. But when you have, when you do things with intention and understanding, it's going to open up whole new realms of it. So it's got that there's a sound that resounds in the heaven, and as that goes on the earth, the symphony of angelic hosts. And the refrain is hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And so I was looking at that and I go, oh yeah, it's like a AAA form with a, and it does go through a time frame. Maybe we'll do that song this afternoon or something. And there's a place where the song doesn't stop going on. And well, the bell underneath is a crown of the worship at your throne. I don't know. That's a good one. That's a good question. Day and night and day, worship at your throne. Ooh. That's interesting. Well, help me. Let's find out what it is. Okay? You've heard the criteria. Let's figure out what this is. Where's the title happen? At the end of the line, right? I love this. There's a place where the song doesn't stop going on 24/7. Where elders bow on the knees, cast the crowns before the King 24/7. And day and night, night and day, worship at your throne. You know, that might be a B. That might be the B, and the A would be the 24/7 part, because the A, there is a progression there's 3 verses, which I guess they were considered verses or maybe sections. The place, it talks about the place. So there's a time frame that happens, right? It's like we're setting the place. It's like, okay, there's a place where the song. So we're kind of setting a setting when they're explaining what they're doing day and night, and then we go in more detail, right? The eyes and wings, the creatures sing day and night. Sound as it fills the sky 24/7, and then the third stanza, it brings it back to us. All the earth is filled with praise, lifting up your holy name. Creation groans for the sons who will worship at your throne 24/7. So I don't know. What do you think? No chorus. It might be. I don't know. It works. What do you think, Julie? No, there's no chorus. So it'd have to be one of those. Yeah. Or the day and night could be a refrain. So you could have that be an A section with a refrain, A section with a refrain, and then a B section, and then another A section with a refrain. Let's call it A, B, A. ABBA. The dancing queen, digging the dancing queen. You're lifting your hands up on that. You like that? You like that, eh? Yeah. You want to know something? And this is so, you guys know Will Hart? Anyway, whenever we're together, we do a thing called Stump the Steve. And that just reminded me of the game that we play. And people will do, say songs. They have to be songs that are like, like top 5 songs from the late 60s all through 80s. They have to be like hits. And I can usually end up playing a portion of any song that someone says. So Carpenter would be oh yeah. Every time you are near, just like me, they long to be close to you. So let's have a little Stump the Steve time. Windy. Everyone knows it's windy, and windy has stormy. Okay, I've never played that song before, but I know it. Okay, cool, huh? Anybody else? Layla? Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. That's good. That's Layla, you got to be on my knees, Layla. Something. Okay, what was the other one? Stumped me. It's not that easy being green. Having to be. So you think that's funny, don't you? You really think that's funny, don't you? He's the one that came up with you pointing the finger, but you know what? I'm going to take care of that finger for you. There's something wrong with it. Maybe I need to snap it back into place. If you know what I mean. Okay, sorry.
Summer breeze.
Oh, I had to think of it. See, I can know a portion. Oh. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Oh, yeah. Isn't this fun? It's like family hour.
Blackwater.
Oh. Hang on. I'm black watering right now. Oh, I need to dial in on this. I love Blackwater. Oh, Blackwater, keep on shining. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining? Oh, Blackwater, keep on shining. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, shining your light, gonna make everything all right. Got that part. Got that part. Just all I need is a portion to win. Women, they get weary. Oh, they get weary. Oh, I don't know the words. Trying that same green dress. If you get weary, oh, just try a little tender, something like that. Something like that. I got the first portion. Winner. What? Has anybody heard that song before? Okay. Was it number one? Hey, right out of here. Okay. Stump the Steve is. Oh.
What'd you say? Stump the Steve has just resumed.
Man. Oh, man. You guys are good.
Which song is that? Time and Bond.
And they're thinking we're weird. Okay. Whew, I should have never done that. Jump the Steve. Okay, now, so far we've discussed several major forms. Many top songs, as we see, have been written using these forms. And if you notice, not one of them has a chorus. Yeah. But now, we'll go to the verse-chorus form, right? The chorus in a verse-chorus song is the melody's most memorable phrase, usually, and the lyric's title and main message. When we talked about make a strong, memorable title, the verse musically and lyrically is an introduction to the central theme or idea. So, in other words, how great is our God? The verse musically and lyrically is an introduction, right? And essentially, in the first verse, you're introducing the great God, right? The splendor of the King, clothed with majesty, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, clothes with darkness, let all the earth go. How great is our God? Sing with me. So you see how those tie together, and that's important that your title or your chorus summarizes what's going on in the verse. All right, that way it just goes boom, hits them with the hook. Use the first verse to establish again the who, what, when, and where. And by putting your title at the top of the chorus, you create a song with great impact and staying power. So here's some of the title in the chorus, first line choruses of one of our most popular songs. How great is our God? Here I am to worship, God of wonders. Some of the last title lines. You are my all in all. Remember that one? You are my strength when I am weak. Da, da, da. Oh, you are my all in all. Or forever, forever you are faithful. Forever you are strong. Forever you are with us. Forever. Or you're worthy of my praise. I will give you all my worship. I will give you all my praise. You alone I love to worship. You alone are worthy of my... All those songs are top 25 CCLI. Huh? Yeah, oh God. Yep. All those most popular songs are written in the verse, chorus, bridge form. A simple verse, chorus song can be very effective too. So many verse, chorus songs features a bridge that arrives at the second chorus and leads back into a third chorus statement. The bridge of the AABA form, you'll remember, is essential to the structure of that form because it functions as a diversion or release to the return of the chorus. The bridge in the verse, chorus, bridge is not usually as long as the other sections. But again, the same rules apply is in the contrast of the bridge. So we've got, how great is our God, right? And then to that point in the bridge, name above all name. So it's a little different with the little tag. It's a shorter bridge. How great is our God. So if you're going to write a verse chorus one, make your bridges short, but make them contrast and make them direct. Okay? There's another thing. Some people call it a climb or a pre-chorus, right? These are just little, what happens, it usually leads right, there's a small section, pulls out of the verse, and then climbs into the chorus with a short build. Remember this song, Let Everything, if we could see how much you're worth, your endless love, then surely we would never cease to praise. Let everything everything, that's a climb or a pre-chorus. So try making your climb end on the 5 chord, leaving the major 1. This is a very strong harmonic move. We talked about cadence, right? The 5 to the 1, and lends itself to a natural return to the root chord, if that's where your chorus goes. So there you have it. Song form and structure, one of my favorite lessons to ever teach. It really is, because I get so much out of it when I teach it. It reminds me that I got a lot of work to do, you know? So it's just, I hope that inspired you. And what I want to do now is, if you got any questions, I'll just take just the remaining 10 minutes or so and answer some questions if you got them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's any record of it, but I imagine it would be more in the, in the probably more in the minor chord structures, maybe using more of the Byzantine type scales, which is we were kind of dwelling in the Byzantine there last night, because that's kind of the sound of the land. But unfortunately, they didn't have any way to record that, and I don't think they really had any documentation. But I imagine it was based on is more of an Eastern type scale. So let's find a song. I don't know. Maybe somebody might know that. I don't know that they even found any musical notation. Does anybody know that? I think it's of the Psalms. I think it's more just like, hey, dude, make this up and put a melody to this. Yeah. Sing aloud unto our God, our strength, and make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. And take a psalm and bring it hither, the timbrel, the pheasant, the rabbit, the psaltery. Blow the trumpet in a new moon. Blow the trumpet in a new moon. I don't know, I wasn't there. But good question, though. And as far as I don't think they had any like theory form. That kind of came with the early classic, the theory of the one chords and the minor one chords and all that. That became that was kind of a westernized theory, the early classical period. I do know that. So it was more of like, I think their instruments were tuned to a particular key, and the string instruments were a particular. They didn't have frets, so to speak. Most of it was harp. So you're in that key, whatever key you're in that's your harping. Have you seen those original harps, the Israeli harps? So there's bigger ones, and there's smaller ones. So those are all tuned to a certain key. So you have a whole, that would be the song your key was in. And there are instructions in the Psalms, like a lament, or or joyous. So it would still be in the same key, but it would depend upon the rhythm. Great question. I'd like to go back, actually. That would be cool. Wouldn't that be so cool? What? Yeah. Any? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I imagine that there's some oral tradition in that. Sure. The cantors. Um, I do know that pre-World War II, the tuning was to 432 hertz, and then yeah, I think it was World War II or something like that. Ask Don Potter, he knows. But then they changed it as a standard to 440, and there's. I'll tell you what, let's do this. There's 440. See this? Oh, wow. And here's 432. I mean, it's going to be a little flatter, but do you feel more the spirit in that? Okay. I guess that's my answer. Well, that's what we do as Christian people. We kind of take things and we run with them. I've been to places where I'm like playing and I'm going, this thing is out of tune, isn't it? Oh yeah, we have it tuned to 444. I go, why? I don't know what the reason is, but we heard it somewhere that 444 is going to be. Well, if anything, I'm going to tune it down so I can sing. So it's not. If anything, it's going to be lower. But I don't think. Yeah, I think what they did is they made, and there's this whole conspiracy that the Nazis used 440 because there's some kind of frequency in the 440 tuning that creates tension and it's propaganda and stuff like that, right? There's that whole deal about that. But I think the anointing can take care of all that. So I think they made 440 because it's a standard and actually makes it a little easier. So you don't have to do as much math because you got 440, 880, 220. That makes it a little easier and you really want to mess the guitar guys up, tune your piano to 432. Because your tuners are calculated to 440, right? Yeah. Correct. And they got some where you can adjust them, but the majority of them is tuned to 440. So there's that whole thing, and I personally, if it's in tune, I love it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Huh?
That was considered a evil sound.
Oh yeah.
They couldn't write with using that.
Yeah. Well, even before that, it was the fourths. That's evil right there. Feel it? Yeah, they wouldn't allow composing with the fourth in it. There's all kinds of. In fact, when they introduced the pipe organ, the sacred church pipe organ that we, at that point it was like the sacred cow. When they first introduced the pipe organ into the church, they called it the devil's bagpipes. Oh my gosh! I used that one many times because the Blue Dart Church, they had that big organ, and that was like, it was like they went, you see that organ in the field over there? Let's build a church around that. That was their baby. It was their baby, and it was this huge, massive, and it had all these pipes, that were behind, and it was their sacred cow. And I said that once. Well, they used to call it devil's bagpipes. They go, oh, I got blue cards for that. But it'd be so funny that the lady, she was so precious. She was really good on the organ, but she was like 85 years old. And during in the middle of announcements or something, she forgets she had her foot on the lowest pedal. It'd be like the whole church be going, and we're going, Norma. Oh. But get this, you want to hear, you want to hear some crazy stories. So they insisted on having that organ play along with the worship. And it was like this massive sound. And every once in a while, a note would get stuck, like in the middle. So I'd have to run up to the rank room and put like a sock in the pipe. But if you can imagine, check this out. You're going to love this. And this is, I think I can kind of get what the organ sounded like. It's way down at the bottom here. There we go. Yeah, There we go. So we have this organ, and she was really good at it. We had the the pre-service, you know. Okay, and it wasn't quite that big. It was more like that. It wasn't quite that big. No, I guess that wasn't closest. Yeah, it's more like that. Okay, so you can imagine that we got worship wars going on, right? So we want to do hymns, but we also want to do contemporary music at the same time. But we want to keep the sacred organ in with this. So we're going to put the organ in. So imagine this sound. You know the song Trading My Sorrows, right? I'm trading my sorrows. I'm trading my pain. And that was it, man. It was like, oh. Anyway, organ wars. How do we get on that? Oh, we talked about the forbidden intervals. That's right. Yeah.
As if God didn't create it all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like it was interesting. Some of these intervals were forbidden, and voice leading. You couldn't have the fourth jump or the fifth, move in parallel. Voicing, that is evil right there. It's like the Romans are coming to invade right now. Right? Okay. Any other questions, TJ?
So what would a song like some of the classical stuff, is that a completely different writing style, or would they use like the AAA or
Well,
even like Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen? Like,
oh, yeah. There's another form called the through composed, and actually a lot of the punk rock and heavy metal uses through composed because it's like a whole bunch of different sections.
would that be like progressive?
A B C D, just through composed. It just keeps going. No sections really kind of repeat. And Bohemian Rhapsody is very much like that. But as far as the classical composers did, they had their sections were huge. They had like an exposition, which is like the first theme, or whatever the theme might be, and then they have "Oh Help Me Somebody." What's the second section? Exposition, A1. They named it A1 exposition, and then there was at the end it would be a recapitulation, back to the exposition. They had a form on that, but it was like it was much longer and much more involved in, really complex. So
Do you recommend any good music theory books?
There's this great theory thing online. Let me see if I can. I think I have it on my computer. You can just get this stuff online.
Okay.
Just look that up, and let's see. Yes, what's this right here? Okay, here it is. Understanding Basic Music Theory by Catherine Schmidt Jones. It's pretty extensive. Yeah. It's 277 pages. Yeah. It's got everything in it. Everything. By Catherine Schmidt Jones. Understanding Basic Music Theory. Yeah, it's intense. I'll show it to you on the break. In fact, one more question, then we'll take a break. Anybody? Yes. I don't know. I think they're all God's keys. Yeah, maybe for me, the key it's all about where your voice sits on the key. Yeah, it's the range. Um, there, I mean, there were a lot of uh, composing in C minor or E flat. That's horrible for an orchestra. I mean, it's great for the brass, not so good for the violins. So they would usually, E major, A major, and they do tend there's a brightness about different keys just by the way the range in which you play it in. But I don't think any one key is more anointed than another. It's the person playing the key that makes it. And so, yeah. I mean, I write a lot of songs in G and D because I play with a lot of guitar players, and that makes them very happy. And I would prefer to write like an A flat or E flat or the flat the flat keys because on keyboard it's because you've got more keys that stick up. You got more, yeah. And that the thing we did today was basically B flat minor, which is great for keyboard because you only got a couple white keys, so it's all like, yeah. Anyway, all right. So now we're gonna come back at 2. So get your voice warmed up. Bring your instruments. We're gonna have fun. And oh yeah, don't forget my product. I don't want to take it home. Yeah. All right, you guys. Everybody okay? Amen. I learned a lot.